Hi friends, and welcome back to the Stage 4 Major presented by JackLinks. Teams continue to siphon on into the arena in preparation for what will be another elimination match. We got Havoc as Greasy. We also have got young Caesar Skyz, who has got some incredible dance moves, and I saw actually a tweet the other day where he can like twist his feet in kind of an odd way. Not exactly sure, but we obviously hope for no broken ankles. But you obviously got to see exactly how the major bracket is lining up right now. Winner of this game will advance to elimination round 3 to face off against the Subliners. Loser of this series will in fact be headed home with the top 10 placement against that. A major game. That stage looking more beautiful than ever. Lottie and Naples were actually talking about it before. Nice blue and purple mixture. I like that, man. It looks good.
Yeah, I'm excited for this matchup between both of these teams. You have on one side Florida, who started off stage 4 by defeating Toronto. Like that was the big wake-up call that, hey, Florida are here to stay. But then they end stage 4 by losing that 3-2 series to Dallas, which helped them. What didn't help them get that winners bracket side. So now they find themselves in an eliminations bracket, going up against a team in LAG who yesterday. Their hard point, obviously, that is the talk of the town when you're talking about LAG. It just hasn't been good. They're on an 11-game loss spree, but they were able to close out that series in a 2-3-5 yesterday. So they need to make sure that their S&D is on point today as well.
Yeah, without a doubt, my friend, we kind of know the primary issues with the Guerrillas gameplay. How does the game plan, though, look coming into this match? As they were victors in the Battle of LA, but can they be the victors here to face off against the Mutineers? Let's go ahead and meet the team, your LA Guerrillas.
When my friends go, it was simple. When the end's low, switch the tempo. I got right, I got heart, I won't die, I'ma fight. I go down, bet I strike, I go hard day and night. Money on the line, keep calling. Money on the books, need all that. My kids, they'll be ballin'. Got a real bankroll, not for Instagram. My mama on the line, keep calling. Praying for me, know I need all that. Told me it's not about ballin'. Real blessed, but I'm still sinning, man. I got right, I got heart, I won't die, I'ma fight. I go down, bet I strike, I go hard day and night.
And there's a look at your Los Angeles Guerrillas as they will be entering into the stage for the second time. Started to get the job done in the Battle of LA yesterday versus the LA Thieves. But again, we kind of know what has been a few of the issues with this roster. We discuss it constantly. Search, destroy, improving. Control's been great, but the hard points, not so much.
Yeah, it just hasn't been there for them when you talk about hardpoint. Like I said, ever since the ending of stage 3 at that major, they haven't went on to win 11 straight games, and that is just not good, man. And every time we watch them in hardpoint, it's always the same exact result. And the reason why is because their setups are just terrible. They cannot hold a hardpoint for more than 15 seconds. And the other issue on the opposite side is when they're spawning out, they can't break into it either. So this is something that they have to work on. They played every single map throughout stage 4. They have yet to get a win on any. So this is going to be difficult for these guys to try to come out on top in this series. If they do answer the call at least early into this hard point, that'll be shocking to me. And I feel like that'll put them in a great first step for them to try to close this one out.
Sure, man. Like I said, it's going to be difficult to take down this group of veterans in LAG, but this is going to be more of a younger roster. A few of these players making their official CDL LAN debut. They're excited and they are hungry. Let's go and meet the roster, your Florida Mutineers.
Situation and a nice three-piece coming in from Big Wake.
Neptune is playing this, trying to bait him out, but aBeZy gets into a nice aBeZy finally repositioned, but aBeZy
Just a little bit too much, but Neptune.
He's still got the wall raging for P2 that Neptune is winning single-handedly. Great work. Again, looking at that mini-map, we know where they're coming from. These players do all round. But these boys have to get through Skyz.
You have to get through Skyz!
And there's a look at your Florida Mutineers as they will be entering into the stage for the very first time. Two players making their CDL LAN debut. And my biggest question, how tall is Big Wake? How tall are we talking? Okay, he's a big guy, okay. I was curious. I've been told 6'5". I've been told 7'5". He's a big boy, and as we know, big weight can be a problem on LAN.
He definitely can, man. Just the combination between him and Skyz, like these guys, like Skyz last year was an MVP candidate, and he lives for that main stage. So he's going to be looking forward to this moment. Obviously, Havoc, a veteran to the scene. Even though he hasn't really been on this team for a really long time, he knows what this feeling is like. It's only going to be brand new to Neptune because he's going to be in his first CDL year, making his first entrance on that main stage. So hopefully the nerves don't get to him. But when you look at this team from top to bottom, I feel like they're a team that is just well even, just right around the middle, on the brink of breaking in towards that top 4 because they're so good at every single game mode. It's just all about if they can stay consistent with it. At least starting off early in series is what they're good at. Towards the end of it is where they start to slow down. But let's just jump right into our keys to victory for Florida. And you cannot allow a hardpoint loss today against a team that has been struggling in the mode. Like we said, LAG 0-11 in their last 11 games of hardpoint. You can not allow that to happen. SMG need to be the risk takers and playmakers in search and destroy. So far for Neptune, in wins he's at a 1.57, in losses he's at a 0.75. Havoc at a 1.5 in wins and at a 0.67 in losses. And their S&D is going to be tremendously big today because they're going up against LAG, who relied heavily on that 2-3-5 yesterday. So if you can get those SMG players to take risks, to be those playmakers, to be the aggressors on the map, I feel like they have a good shot at closing this one out.
Yeah, man, and these teams are quite familiar with each other as well. This will be their 5th matchup of the season. Florida currently sitting at 4-0 so far. So now we'll go take a look at our game fuel keys to victory here for the LA Guerrillas. Believe it or not, folks, can you really see it? Yeah, they can't continue to struggle in the hard points. They have lost their last 11 and did lose both hard points yesterday by 100+ versus the Thieves. They also have to keep up with the great teamwork that we did see versus the Thieves in Search and Destroy, as that has what got them here today. And then also Silly and Apathy. You can't afford to have a slow start. So we're going to talk about this really for a majority of this series, kind of the SMG battle, that kind of dynamic. And so far throughout stage 4, it's not been so stellar for either Silly and Apathy. Both less than I believe less than a number 1, or rather 1 KD. I think Silly sits around like a 0.7, 0.8 so far throughout the season.
Yeah, and you just can't afford to have that slow start like we said in our keys to victory. Because yesterday, Silly opened up that first map sitting at like 11-27. And that's just not what we were expecting of a player of his caliber. He's a world champion for a reason. You expect better plays from him. But on the side of Apathy, he was their playmaker in Search and Destroy. Like, the reason why they won that game 5 yesterday is because he was always that person who was starting the engagement and winning that huge one-on-one gunfight. So he needs to continue that today. But just looking at the maps and modes, the only one that's really scary for me is this map number 1, because LAG, they're sitting at 1-7 throughout the season on Moscow. But when you go to the later stages of these maps, both teams are basically going to be sitting at even. So this is great. I feel like these are great maps right here for LAG. They can answer the call, at least opening on this Moscow hardpoint, keeping it close, trying to get that momentum into the Search and Destroy. I feel like if they are able to take this series to the second half, make it to that game 4 or game 5, they have a good shot at taking this one.
Yeah, and so I know I've asked you countless times, like, what really has been the issue with LAG? What's been the problem with their hardpoint game? I won't ask you necessarily what the problems have been, but what needs to be done differently? Like, what has to be different today here on Moscow versus a team like Florida, who has been great in these opening hardpoints?
We have to get a hold. Like, if you're the team that's going to be early rotated to a hard point, especially the P2 and P3, which can definitely be money hills, you need to make sure that you're holding those to the best of your ability. That's why a lot of teams don't like to play them on Apocalypse, because they know how good of a team LAG are holding that P2, which is basically a full 60 every time for these guys. So you just have to make sure that your money hills are money hills and your setups are not going to get broken into easy.
Well, the Guerrillas starting on the more preferred side as Neptune goes flying for his first life on LAN. Unfortunately, maybe being a little bit too close to the statue that sits inside of middle, as LAG will sit firmly inside of the hill, grabbing those first 15 on the board. And also another player that a lot of people have been interested to watch is going to be Big Wake, living up to the title, as I know we've all been kind of curious, like how tall certain players are. We've not been able to see these guys for a year and a half. I know a lot of people were surprised yesterday with Standy, talking about how he might be like 6 foot tall. I mean, how tall do you think Awakening is? Like, he's got to be pushing like 6'4", 6'5", bro. I feel it.
Yeah, he's a big boy. I remember I teamed with Havoc back in the day, and Havoc was the tallest one on our team. And he's basically towering a little bit taller than Havoc. So he's got to be sitting around 6'6", 6'7". He's definitely Big Wake, living up to the name. And this is a good start right here for LAG, though. They were able to get a good 25 points off of that P1. Now they're fully set up for that P2. Silly's the only player that spawns out, but they're able to chain 3 kills together. That's going to spawn all of Florida out towards the front side. They just have to find and locate the player in Havoc. Gino tries to think he has some information on where he can possibly be, but he's just causing so many problems as Florida are getting a lot of kills around this map. That's going to be 3 down, and eventually the flips spawns are going to be in for Florida.
Yeah, and just a great break there from the Mutineers as Neptune gets his first kill on the board. Same thing with Havoc. It has been the ARs to start. Skyz at 5-2, Awakening even right now at 3-3, and Neptune is shutting the door so far throughout this P2. And as we said, buddy, LAG, the holds have been the problem as they will be now spawning back P2 for the moment. They do win the big hill, rather the big fights in the hill. So while they do get awarded with those final 12 seconds, it is going to be a matter of the rotations. Florida sitting firmly there for next, and it can be quite of a jaunt across Moscow. As we know, this is a hard point where if you're not well collected, you get shut down early. It can be very difficult to break. And as we start this one off, all LAG players just now passing that 50-yard line. This could be a lot of time in their favor if this initial push does not work out, but they stick together in a nice 3-man Congo line. Very well could also find Skyz in the back lines. Nice shots coming through from Assault as he gets taken down.
Yeah, and there's a couple players from LAG now pinching that spawn, so that's going to spawn a couple Florida players out towards the front side, but Awakening and Neptune doing a great job of just holding that push from LAG as they try to break those spawns. And so far, this has been a full 60 hill for Florida. LAG have not yet come close to try to even contesting this, and that's why you see the lead starting to grow substantially right now for Florida as the rotation is about to come in. You have to pay attention to where Skyz is going from. He's going all the way around from that deep street side. He knows that his teammates are still going to be spawning up towards back library, so they're trying to set up for this pinch. And number 6, which is going to be Silly, trying to watch that cut. This can be a huge kill if Skyz can pick this up off the rotation.
We'll see if he's able to do it. A little bit of a shaky start to this HP for LAG, but a big opportunity for them to start to rally back here at the Boulevard as we'll go and step aside and go to an Astro listening with the Guerrillas.
What's all plat, Justin? All plat. I don't see that. I kill Caesar for you.
Absolute. I've seen that. He could be in gold, yeah.
I've made Justin. Look your name. Top plat, top plat.
That's in gold.
One absolute.
He went back to
gold.
gold.
P1. Look here,
One bus stop, wake, and one
Actually,
coming to your
F's
bus.
office.
Actually,
office him 3 times. He's on office. He's on office.
I don't see Lee sure now.
That's on bank.
He's gold. Have it gold.
What? Actually, play kills. Give him all the time. Play kills.
Start treat Caesar. Then we'll get bus up there.
I'm absolute. I can't even do it. This kill is mid.
Start rotating. Start going at. I'm gonna put the
roll.
Yeah, I'm going old. Get off tight. Probably
look at me.
gold. Yeah, gold dead.
I see
Nine on the bus stop. They don't have a trophy ult.
What's it be new? What's it be new?
I got one.
Go down. Let's go down.
I got deep street. Going gold.
Actually,
Could be that side.
Well done. Good win.
Nice.
Probably another plat or something.
Stay no.
You were my
Bar, you change.
Can we plat me, guys? I'm gonna
I don't see him. He went office. I don't see him.
Help me help.
Nice, I'm going.
Absolute. Wait, I'm X. He's there. Back right.
Nice.
Watch out. I'm behind. Stay on hill.
Take a side hill.
Absolute gold. Mine. Stay light. I need to take
There's two there.
Pinch gold, low key. Yeah, I gotta watch gold pinch real quick. Gold pinch, dead.
Nice, we're looking for Caesar.
Give me a sec. HyDra yellow. He's
I didn't see him. He's yellow.
They spawn straight.
Get on the side.
First side of the rotation's complete, and now we've got ourselves a pretty even game. LAG able to claw their way back inside of Boulevard, and Florida did grab the last few seconds of time. Like I said, it is LAG answering back in a big way, and a player that we've talked a lot about so far. Stud coming into this has been Silly. Not a great performance so far throughout stage 3 and stage 4 for him. Like we said, man, this guy has the ability to be a playmaker. If he can go off with that SMG, be a big player for them as LAG are able to lock down time inside of the hill, that could be the difference maker for what gives them a hardpoint victory.
It definitely can, man. And just the way that they're playing right now, they're relying on straight teamwork. No one is trying to be that individual to drop 30 to 40 kills. They're all just trying to help each other to try to close out this game strong. We have a tied game basically at this P2 hardpoint. Good positioning right there out of Silly to pick up 2. And this should be 30 seconds remaining going in favor of LAG. They're going to force Florida to try to set up off this rotation. And this time around, LAG have to find an answer to how to break it, because the setup last time was just way too strong for Florida. You see a couple players from LAG pushed up nice and early on the rotation. All these players trying to fight through the middle of the map, trying to go around this street side as well. They find themselves up by 20 points. They just cannot allow for Florida to get a full Stacy once again on this P3.
Based off the minimap, it looks much different in comparison to the first set of rotations. LAG, once the P2 would come to a close, they weren't even at the 50-yard line. Now, in a much better position. We'll see how well this contest can possibly be made. Skyz, rather, does get taken down. It will be the trades somewhat favoring Florida. Big one comes through from Havoc, and that will reset the push. Now from LAG, making the way through mid, but here is Havoc trying to make the plays, trying to cut down these players, get them brought down low in regards to the HP game. Doing such will delay the push for the moment. LAG now into the point. How much damage can they do? And the answer is absolutely nothing, as we have, for a brief moment, a tie game. Florida, with that hold, will take the advantage, having themselves up by a good, 20 points. Now coming in toward Boulevard. LAG held this one decently well last time around, and now set up for next. As Florida look to contemplate how they want to try to push this. Neptune very well could be the player to break it. It's right now on the 3 spree. He and Awakening combining for 6. A big hard point, to put it lightly, as Neptune is able to find the 4th, continuing to poke away in the backside of the spawns of LAG, but aBeZy is able to read him.
And that's a good answer right there for LAG, because that was the make or break to that game right there. If they would have allowed Florida to break in when they were off the rotation for in the first 20 seconds, that's the worst possible outcome, because then Florida will be spawning towards bank. They'll just be able to flood that hard point and eventually pick up some more time. But LAG responding here, great. At least off this first 30 seconds to be only down by 9. They're going to lose those spawns from deep street side, as the pinch is going to come in from Florida, but they had the bank spawn, so they can still put themselves in a position to try to get some of this time. They just have to make sure that they play off the rotation. Unfortunately, Chino is going to drop, so now that's going to leave Florida fully set up for that P1, as you see Skyz approaching that top Eskies area. This is going to be really difficult for LAG to try to get in.
It is indeed a very, very close game, and the last time that these teams did play in Stage 4, it was a Moscow hardpoint that came down to the wire. Came within 15 points. Florida, they did become victors of that particular game, and very well could have a similar storyline here. Florida with preferred spawns. Havoc gets a nice kill, but keep in mind, LAG, few players poking their way through the back. Awakening has to find him. A huge gunfight win there for Big Wake, as the lead chains continue to get exchanged. Silly trying to make his way through the back lines. He's able to find one to start things off. 30 seconds left inside of P1. Florida with that also in position for P2. LAG, they've got to get something going. They at least have to get time here at the first hill. Dassault looks to pile his way on in. These are big seconds for LAG. They've got to gear up and be ready for what could be a major hill for the Mutineers.
Those are huge gun engagements, because they're going to go 3 down, so now they're going to definitely be spawning all the way across the map. It's going to allow Florida to be fully set up, uncontested, but for about the first 10 seconds on this P2 hardpoint. The lead is starting to grow. They're getting closer to that 250-point mark, so the pressure is going to come in from LAG. It's looking like they're going to try to attack this from laundry side and from middle. As 2 players are going to jump in, Havoc is going to have his hands full in this engagement, but he's going to give up his position. Skyz is going to be able to take down that player in middle. So this is basically the last push for LAG. If they cannot execute this push through laundry, it's going to be chalked, and Florida are going to be able to walk away with this one.
And aBeZy finally gets the exchange with Havoc. I thought for a moment they could even hear each other, maybe whispering a few ideas back and forth, but 10 seconds left before the Mutineers calls this one their own. Last push now in from LAG, and Awakening is fully aware of it. Right into the blender go the Guerrillas. And this one will be a dub in the books. Mutineers take game 1.
And that was just great hard point from the Mutineers right there. The money hills were money hills. P3 specifically, they were able to get a full 120 seconds on both rotations. That is where the game really changed for me, because that's where LAG just didn't have the opportunity to break in. They were going back and forth between P2, back and forth between P4, but Florida really taking over that P3 hardpoint is what closed out this game for them. Obviously, Skyz and Awakening stepping up in those ARs, the SMG players finessing the way that they do. They're able to take that map number 1, but this is what I expected, for Florida to be able to win that hardpoint. Now it's all about if they can respond well into this search and destroy, because that has been the backbone game mode for LAG for quite some time.
Oh man, you see there, I guess you could say for LAG, like, we talk about, oh, the loss of momentum in the early game. I don't necessarily think that they came in expecting that they were going to win the hard point, considering that is now their 12th loss in a row in hardpoint. Keeping things in mind and kind of putting things into perspective, that is the CDL record for most hardpoint losses in a row. The second highest stud is 8. So they have not only taken that record, but are setting new records in certain ways. As again, as you mentioned, Money Hills, number of different things going the right way for Florida. And as we said, this series kind of picking up from where their last particular engagement left off. A Moscow win for Florida and another one here. 250 to 202. Florida claims victory to start. It will be Miami S&D up next. It was LAG who were able to walk away with S&Ds and their victory yesterday. Can they do it again? Can this continue to be their backbone? We will find out as Miami's up right after this.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. Zenny, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Zenny Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting zenny.com/gaming.
Folks, we are celebrating the COD League stage for Major with a giveaway. One winner will win a controller of choice featuring the winning team's design. Who will that be? I legitimately have no idea. To enter, you can feel free to retweet this tweet, follow @ScuffGaming on Twitter, and make sure to tag 2 friends. If I were in this, I would actually tag good old Jeremy Stud on Twitter. You can feel free, of course, this does end Sunday, June 20th at the end of the broadcast. But Stud, we got to talk a little Mutineers. Specifically, we got to talk some Skyz, man. What drops a 1.43 in that first game. And so far, man, throughout stage 4, he has looked unbelievable.
Man, just looking at those stats, overall KD sitting at number 1 with a 1.25. His hardpoint stats are out of this world. His control stats are out of this world. Just the guy in respawn, he's really just been taking over, and he really answered the call in that map number 1, putting up a 1.4 in that map number 1 to secure that win for his team. Now it's all about just making sure that you're improving that S&D stat, because a 0.87 for Skyz is not what we expect. This is a guy who came from S&D. This is his bread and butter right here, so he's gonna have to step it up in this game mode for his teammates to go up 2-0.
The guy can really do it all. He can slay in the respawns. He can also do that, again, that crazy foot thing. If you guys know what I'm talking about, just go to his Twitter. I don't know how he was able to do that. I legitimately got worried. I thought
Nameless.
we were going to see
Nameless can do that. Nameless can do it.
Did he actually?
Nameless can do it. It's like the duck feet. Yeah, when you spread them all the way out,
Yeah.
it's really weird, but only the coolest guys can do it. So Nameless and Caesar's guys, they're pretty cool.
One of the coolest. Can you do it, Stud? I think you can.
Nope, absolutely
No?
not. I'm not that
You're
cool.
not that
Nope.
cool? All right.
Nope, absolutely not. No.
It is what it is. It is what it is. So we now head to Miami. Good old search and destroy. What, 3-3 for Florida, 6-5 so far throughout the season for LAG. And one of those most recent W's, Study, actually came in the Guerrillas last series versus the Thieves. It was a Game 5 here on Miami, and I believe it was Assault who dropped like 15 and 5 to close out the Thieves. Is that right?
Yeah, the guy was going off, man, just picking them apart, picking apart the players of the Thieves side. But I feel like a lot of the success yesterday had to be on aBeZy, because his opening engagements, those huge one-on-one gunfights, is what started all the ruckus. So once he wins that one-on-one engagement, it's eventually when his teammates start playing for those trades, and they were able to come out on top in a majority of those situations yesterday. So aBeZy, I'm looking for him to have a big game as that island player. We know the way that he decides to play is always to play slow at B, try to catch a couple players off the rotation or trying to push to being aggressive, and that's what's going to happen. Is Havoc trying to push his way straight up to the middle of the map, is going to run right into the pre-aim of Assault. First blood going to go in favor of LAG. And
oftentimes we saw them play yesterday in that game 5 versus the Thieves. It was about the first bloods, and it was just about their movement toward this A side, toward this water side, how great they were as Neptune wins a fight on the other side of the map. That will now bring us to a 3-on-3. Looking through the porthole for a moment was good old Big Wake. Yet to spot anything, maybe just spotting a few wakes out in the ocean. As here we go. Bomb planted, 33 seconds on the clock, and Skyz is beginning to line them up from afar. A lifeguard indeed. We said he could truly do it all, and he's also there to help resuscitate a few of the players that he's most likely taking down. Sheen now in the 1 versus 3, 20 seconds left. Can he defend anything? Unfortunately, the answer to that will be no, as Neptune finds the 3, and that will be a nice and great start for Florida to kick this one off.
Just a great round right there out of Florida, even with Havoc dropping into that first blood. Neptune knows that aBeZy is going to be that player playing around purple. He was able to eliminate that player. Eventually, they gain the information that the bomb is going to be planted towards A. They solo out Silly with a great positioning out of Skyz, playing all the way deep beach. And Chino and Silly just were not expecting that. Eventually, the kill comes in from Assault, from Neptune through the middle of the map. It's left Chino in a 1v3. It's just impossible, especially at that A-bomb. Just so many different lines of sights you can get shot from. He's going to drop. So Florida, they answer early. Neptune picking up the hat trick in round number 1.
I gotta say, man, I don't know how Florida aren't better at this map. You know, they're 3-3. They've got the name synchronization. King, Neptune, we got Big Wake. We're right by the ocean. It's Miami after all. Only 3-3. I don't know. I feel like you know, expect them for this to be their best S&D. I don't know, man. It is what it is. See how they begin to fare off, as now we're headed in toward top piano. A few shaky shots there from Father App, but he's eventually able to take down Havoc. And that will slow down the push for the Mutineers. Neptune quite literally has to completely slow his pace down. He does in fact have the bomb, and unfortunate thing is he no longer has his SMG compadre. Nobody from the LAG yet to drop, and only problem for them, if you are Florida rather, is that Sheen is beginning to move his way up. So not only are these players making their way toward B, I'm not so sure it's going to be an easy way to exit, as that could be their goal. But with 30 seconds left, Miami, it is a big map. A few peppered shots are in. Skyz is able to take Sheen down. Now into the 3 versus 2. LAG still with numbers. Skyz looks to get some freedom, but once again, the bomb has to be planted. Neptune left between a rock and a hard place. He's got 2 players fully aware of his position. Still have to exit outside of the garage. Skyz once more picking players apart. Not able to take that one down onto Assault, but Neptune, nearly a moment, got a little bit tricky there if you are an LAG fan, but they're still able to walk away with it.
Yeah, that was a scary round, because it goes from a 4v2, and then once Chino gets picked, it allowed Skyz to go through the middle of the map, and then picked out that kill onto Silly, forces it to a 2v2. If he would have won that engagement versus Assault, I would have just had to invest in my game just like him, man, because that would have been an insane play. But LAG, they hold, they win the man advantage. aBeZy picks up 3 on the round. I said it's from the start of this game, he needs to have a big one, because he was that playmaker to at least shut down the SMG players on the side of the Thieves yesterday. Yeah. So tied at 1 apiece. aBeZy is going to try to gain some early information of some players from Florida trying to be aggressive in towards top purple, but this bomb is most likely going to make its way towards A. The only thing is you have to worry about Awakening, who is trying to make his way towards both sides, but LAG do a great job using the tacticals to get him out of that position.
And maybe LAG somewhat intimidated by the waves. Big Wake sounds like a problem on one half of the map, and it will be the rotation in. I know you mentioned a lot about aBeZy. As LAG now make the rotation toward B. You think he's the most important player for this team in S&D? Like, he's kind of the... I know we talk about X factors, but is he the most important player, you think, on this team in order to walk away with Search and Destroys, or somebody else?
I think just the combination of the players that they have, like Assault and Chino, they are great search and destroy players, and they can push you through games.
Yeah.
Like we saw Assault yesterday go 15-5, just literally taking over. But what aBeZy does so great, and you see him right now, putting the pressure onto Purple, starting that engagement. He's able to win one, but does he have the information that another player is going to be in towards this room? Yes, he does. The engagement is about to come in versus Havoc. This is a huge one-on-one engagement. Unfortunately, the challenge is going to come in from Havoc. Shots going back and forth, still trying to find this kill as both players. Eventually, aBeZy is going to try to go for the chase down. Havoc is just juking him out of his boots. He cannot guard him. Havoc is able to get away with his life, and the bomb couldn't even get planted right there for LAG. Havoc just causing so many problems right there for the setup for LAG. Florida are able to walk away with it. Even in the 3v3 fashion, no bomb plant going down. I don't think I've seen that in quite some time.
I was going to say, Havoc, we got a chance to look at him for a moment. He's just smiling. If 5 players were alive and the round ended, it was just a matter of like, okay, I guess this one's done. So there you have it. Neptune and Skyz playing well. Awakening and Havoc get to get a kill on the board, but their team finds themselves up 2-1. I guess you could kind of give Havoc a kill because of the way that he plays that one out. I mean, he deserves some extra score, something at the very least. Mutineers taking it to LAG to start, as now they'll be on the attack, and they know well where Money Cheen likes to be at, likes to be on his yacht. It's firmly there for the moment, but does get red. It's the big changeup that we see from the Thieves versus the Mutineers, how they play the Guerrillas. Thieves had such a hard time of getting Cheen out of that power position toward the Catamaran, but Mutineers able to handle him, and now that will set up the bomb play today.
Now it's going to be a 4v3, and just keep in mind the positioning of Awakening. He's going to have a huge one-on-one engagement with aBeZy. He was trying to be that player going around on the late flank, but he's able to spot Awakening, huge one-on-one. So that's going to eliminate that line of sight onto the bomb. Havoc's able to at least get one into Assault. Still keeps the man advantage in favor of Florida. 25 seconds remaining. Assault's going to decide to wrap back through the backside. aBeZy trying to work through that beach side. The only thing is Neptune is going to be on this boat. It's only a matter of time before Neptune is able to pick up this kill. Now it's all a 3v1 situation in Florida. Another great round right there, and they definitely have done their homework. Eliminating Chino from that position, they know that is the power spot. If you can take control of beach, eventually work that A plant, because you know Assault likes to camp in towards that top building. Yeah. They do exactly that. Fight for that map control, and then eventually close out the round using the numbers to their advantage.
And you can just see how it kind of spoiled the entire setup for the Guerrillas, because they're not assuming that Chino is going to fall in that spot, or at least as soon as he did, because, well, aBeZy is making the great play on the flank, the right play in that situation. The bomb is down, so now you're in the situation where you don't have man advantage, and aBeZy is trying to sprint as much as he can across Miami, and by the time that he gets there, it doesn't even matter. So nice plays from Florida, and as you said, man, doing their research, doing their VOD review, as Money Cheen yet to get a kill on the board, and Mutineers strolling their way to a nice 3-1 advantage. Guerrillas in desperate need of a round. As we said, S&D got them through that series versus the Thieves. A loss here, you gotta imagine, would not treat them oh so kindly. Continuous discussions into the hard points. All that stuff is just chatter in the back of their minds, is how they start to this one back. 3 versus 4. They're just getting all the information that they can. Neptune has to back up, tosses out the nade, gives a prayer. Nothing's able to land. Skyz over top. He's able to take down one. Neptune there for the instant trade, and just like that, the collapse is in. 3 players fall in a matter of seconds, and the Mutineers continue on their 3rd round straight.
And that's just Skyz right there making the plays. He opens up at the first blood, and then he's just aggressive with his teammates. They know that they have the man advantage. They know that the pressure is going to come in towards his speed bomb. So he jumps over the wall, gets some good timing onto the first player, and then eventually snaps on the Chino to end out the cam. So that was 3 kills on the round for Skyz. It's going to be on a 4 spree. We said that this guy's stats throughout all of stage 4 were insane. #1 in hardpoint, #1 in control. And so far in S&D, 8-2, he's answering the call, improving on that category as well.
Yeah, because we were coming into this talking more about the SMGs. It's been like, you know, more of the X factor in regards to Neptune and Havoc. How do they play? But now you have this situation where we're on Miami, and it's now a conversation about the ARs, and Awakening is yet to get a kill. As we said, Skyz going off right now. S&D not been the best so far throughout stage 4, but again, it's hard to critique somebody who has a 1.2 or a 1.3 and everything else. Turning down Skyz could be the very key that LAG need in a successful defensive hold, as they are, without a doubt, hurting. Down 4-1. As these shots just continue to snap throughout the beach. Florida taking their time, though. Looking for the pick, and Cheen maybe learning from a few rounds ago that, oh, you got to be careful, but, well, it's not the catamaran this time. It's just another perspective, another angle for Skyz to beam you on, as that will be a first blood for him, and now LAG are left to rally.
Now in a 4v3 situation, you have to keep in mind the positioning of Awakening. Neptune, some great shots onto aBeZy. Havoc with some great shots onto Assault. Now it's all left up to Cellium in a 1v4. He's able to take down Awakening, but in the 1v3 situation on Miami, it's basically going to be impossible. And in Florida, they are dominating in this search and destroy. They are basically soloing out Chino on every single offense. Once they know that they find that kill, it is completely breaking the setup on the side of LAG. They keep on doing that. They should be able to close this out here, but Florida are playing great search and destroy in this map number 2.
What's impressed you the most from Florida? Is it their ability to space out Cheen? But what really has, you think, been the overall difference from why LAG, as we said, at times a great search and destroy team? Only 1 round so far throughout our 6.
Yeah, so they're opening up with first blood, so that's going to be a tremendous help. But them soloing out Cheen has obviously been causing a lot of problems for LAG. Chino has yet to get a kill on this map, and he's usually that guy that's able to control the middle of the map, and that's going to be silly this time around, though, with his own first blood. So now Florida are going to be having the man disadvantage. Still a spread setup right now for LAG, as you have aBeZy trying to work through lower garage, trying to set up that pinch, but Assault with some great shots onto Awakening. It's going to turn it into a 4v2.
Numbers advantage, finally, for the Guerrillas. I feel like we've been a long time since we've been able to say that specific sentence. LAG with man count. Guys in Neptune checking over at B, but nothing as of yet. And based off that mini-map, you can see a player 7, player 8. Cheen and aBeZy giving the call, saying, hey, we got a free site so far, but here comes Skyz. Neptune, in the blink of an eye, turn this from a 2v4 now into a 2v2, as there goes Skyz, now all on to Neptune for the game. Not able to pick apart Silly enough. Able to put in a few bullets, but 35 seconds on the clock. Position known. aBeZy and Silly. 2 vets. Land this one correctly. Not giving any unnecessary angles toward the Røkkr. And that will be around toward LAG. Actually, I felt like I said so. It's a situation where LAG, they start off well, then it gets a little bit dicey, but nonetheless, they finally were able to secure it, keeping this game going.
Yeah, they keep it going, and if you're Neptune in that situation, that is a very frustrating situation to be in, with both players just constantly throwing shoulders. You're trying to get good timing onto at least one of those players, but LAG, the veterans that they have, the world champions that they have, they know the situation, so they're able to walk away with that one. So they stay alive in this game. Florida are now going to be on the attack. Awakening has yet to find a kill, but Chino is the big story for right now for LAG, currently sitting at 0-6. He needs to try to find some success, and once again, he's going to be going over towards that boat side. Neptune knows the positioning out of Chino. That tack right there from that flash is going to give him that information. Chino does have a trophy system to work with, but do Florida decide to solo him out once again? So far, that's been the key to success on their offenses.
And you saw for a moment, Skyz was trying to get a little bit clever there with the angle, but he not exposing too many shoulders. It is the beach after all. I'm at the line of sight there from Skyz, just not able to get enough information to proceed with the gunfight. And so with that, the rotation is in. Florida quickly, hot and heavy in toward B. It is a 4 versus 2 advantage for the Mutineers. A pick here would be great for Florida, but Neptune,
My God,
aware of Assault, takes him down. So with that, it is on for Silly and Co. Trying to hold it down. They're aware of a few players positioning, but there's another pick. Skyz, can he find another? Cheen takes one down toward top purple. Silly alive for a moment, but it all comes down to money. Cheen, and there you go. Florida, a convincing S&D. Take Miami in just 8 rounds of play. A map that allowed for LAG to be put in this exact position. Now taken completely away from them, as Florida now up 2-0 in the series.
And that was such a great search and destroy from Florida. Their early game plan was to solo out Chino on their offenses. Once they won 2 offensive pushes towards that A bomb, they said, hey, we're going to act like we're going to go towards him once again, as Neptune uses his tacticals to try to keep Chino in that position. And then eventually they set up the rotation to B, catch both players, not a single player from LAG in towards top purple. Both of them decided to play in back alley. And then Neptune, the fact that he was able to slide out of top purple, jump over the wall, and just completely break the setup once again for LAG, that just can't happen. Silly needs to make sure he's always watching that cut, because once Assault dropped, the crossfires just come in for Florida, and they executed perfectly to close out that search and destroy, and now they find themselves up 2-0 in the series.
And I feel like, you know, we talked constantly about the coordination of Guerrillas, how that kind of got them through the Miami, got them really through all the S&Ds yesterday versus the Thieves, and Florida just too chaotic to kind of break open those setups. Just wonderful plays kind of throughout this game. And oh man, Skyz 12-3. As we said, not the greatest KD so far throughout stage 4, but on LAN, he is performing. He is lighting everybody up. And again, LAG, they just could not slow him down. As now we're going to take a look at our U.S. Army tactical play. Caesar's on the mine, and Caesar, of course, is going to be in the play, investing in his game in a multitude of different ways. And as we said, on home turf, on Miami of all maps, it is young Caesar putting in the work to give Florida the 4-1 edge.
Yeah, so this is where Skyz, he's able to pop that first blood, and then eventually LAG know that they have to commit towards this bomb at this point. There's no way that they can rotate this back towards A. It's going to cause way too much problems, way too much time that they do not have to play with. So then eventually you find yourself in this position of Skyz. He knows that the aggression from LAG is starting to come in from back alley. It's all about playing this timing off the hop up perfectly. He's able to slide and get one, and then eventually Neptune with the trade, and then Skyz with the third. And that just shows that he was playing really confident throughout that search and destroy. Guy dropped 12 kills. That's going to be a dozen on the map. He was really taking over in some of these rounds, but just from start to finish, man, that Florida team, they look so good in that search and destroy. And now they find themselves up 2-0. LAG have to put themselves in a position to win 3 straight, or they're going to be going home empty-handed.
Yeah, a big game already for LAG on the brink of elimination. You see Gene, the rest of the team, trying to reset ahead of this control. Is the series done here or in a 3-0 fashion, or can LAG rally back and try to send us to a 4th map? You're going to want to make sure and stay with us, as it will be raid control up right after this break.
The Call of Duty League is presented by Zenny, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Zenny Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting zenny.com/gaming. Presented by USAA Renters Insurance, made to insure your gear in real life.
Sign up for official Call of Duty League emails and get the exclusive Send It calling card. Scan the QR code on your screen, enter your information, and you'll get a free code for the calling card. Folks, you cannot get this calling card anywhere else, as it will be available, of course, on Black Ops Cold War and Warzone. Make sure to bring out that phone, pull the picture app, and take a quick little snap at the QR code. As we said, Stud, it is been an interesting day so far. Potentially on the brink of what? Back-to-back 3-0s, but we got to talk about control, as this could be the saving grace for LAG so far throughout the season. Both teams middle of the pack.
Yeah, middle of the pack, but you got to keep in mind that attacking rounds for LAG is just horrible. They're dead last in their attacking rounds. It's not going to be easy, but the good thing about it is that they're playing their best control map, which is going to be Raid, where they are sitting at 5-5 on the season. On the opposite side, you have Florida, who are not really good at this. So this can be that bounce back game that they were looking for, try to get themselves back into this series. This is usually that swing mode when you get to that map number 3 that can turn the tides, and hopefully they can start to enter this series with a little bit more aggression, because right now, Florida, they're dominating. At least in that map number 2, they really took over, so they need to have a response. I know the momentum isn't there, but you have world champions for a reason. They have been in this situation multiple times, win or go home, back against the wall. Now it's all about just making sure that you're minimizing those mistakes to stay alive in this one.
Absolutely, man. Minimizing mistakes, and as we said, that SD has to hurt if you are the Guerrillas, but as we said, now coming into the control, this has been a mode where LAG have been able to rely on, right? This has been their best game mode so far throughout Stage 4. They've won 3 of their last 4 control games. However, all of those have been on Garrison. One of those victories was versus Florida in their last exchange in the Stage 4 regular season. There's a 3-0 on Garrison. But again, we're not on Garrison. We are on Raid for what could be the final map of this series. Florida looking to walk away with a nice 3-0 to start off their Stage 4 elimination bracket run. At the same time for LAG, you mentioned, Stud, a lot of veterans on this. I mean, really all veterans on this roster. As you stated, they've been in this spot before, but Mutineers firing on all cylinders up to this point. Skyz has taken over. We'll see if he can continue to do it again, as LAG will start things off on the attacking side, making their way up toward water side.
Yeah, they're going to be a lot aggressive towards this B point. They're trying to get some early progression on towards this B point, so they don't have so it can be a lot easier for them if they can close out on this. But Havoc doing a great job of staying alive in Tiki is going to shut down that push right off the rip for LAG. So now it's all about them fighting through the middle of the map. You see the positioning out of Neptune. He's not trying to allow any players to push over towards A from the middle of the map. Right now, LAG, they're just scrambling. It's looking like they're trying to commit towards B, trying to take control of the middle map. But kills are just going back and forth between both teams that Florida continuously are keeping map control.
Oh, and silly, if he would have just backed up for a moment, very well could have been the nice bait and switch. Assault could have taken one down from bottom. Mansion Sheen as well could have taken them down from water, but it will be a nice 3-man push over at this B point. Again, Skyz sitting inside of basketball. You've got player 1, aka Neptune, who was in top money for a moment. The early exchange, can Neptune cause problems on the flank? But no, he's actually going to focus his attention over at A. So Florida handle business at B. Meanwhile, they win the 1v1 at A as well. With 30 seconds left, again, another scatter type of situation. 2 gunfights, 2 team fights going down, and Florida are able to walk away with both. Problem being now for LAG is one point they have to push is the one that they don't have any progress on at all, as Awakening wins a big one. They're on to Assault. Apathy, farthest pushed up player, stops the clock at 12 seconds on the dot. We'll see how well composed the Guerrillas can be, as they have got to win this team fight to stay alive in this beginning round. There'll be 2 kills to start. Mutineers starting to back off a little bit. Very well could be a capture for LAG, and that seems to be the case, as Apathy wins a big one toward the front side.
Yeah, so now LAG should be able to close out on this A point. Now you just have to try to keep track of Havoc, but Silly off spawn is able to take care of him. So now time is going to be extended by a minute. You are down by 1 life, so the push is going to come through from the backside. Apathy is going to win a huge first engagement to allow his teammates to eventually get into this play, and they took full control of basketball. The only thing is, one player is going to be off the rotation a little too late, so Assault is going to get shot in the back, Awakening with the second. Now all you have to do is just focus these last 2 players from LAG camp in the back of your spawn. On the opposite side of the map, Awakening and Neptune are just causing problems off the players off spawn for LAG. Eventually they're able to eliminate both. And now this is going to possibly set up that push that LAG were looking for. They can chain a couple more kills together. Eventually, the stack will come in, but still, Awakening causing problems at this bedroom area.
You notice for Guerrillas, they just have not been able to get a well-coordinated push, whether it's players dropping from the front or players dropping off of spawn. Just not enough things to correlate. As Cheen now sits on the 3 spree, that one's going to get dropped. Nice little run inside of the enemy spawn. Behind enemy lines, he finally gets dropped. aBeZy will get taken down as well, and as those 2 players fall, everybody from LAG hot off the respawn. And speaking of that, nobody's got any lives left. Is Awakening causing problems. Nearly makes it a 7th in a row, a convincing end to that round out of the Mutineers.
Yeah, so right there, LAG, they had the map control. They had the opportunity. They took control of basketball. The only thing that they couldn't do was eliminate Awakening out of this position. He was able to go on a 6 spree, just getting these guys off of the spawn, picking these guys off of the point. Like, he was just doing it all for his teammates, being the safety net right there in that round number run for Florida. So Florida going to be able to take that very first defensive round. It got a little bit scary towards the end with LAG with the positioning that they had, but they're able to walk away with it. And inside of LAG, they need to respond on this defense. And just looking at the stat line, Silly's having a slow game. You need to turn this around if you want to stay alive in this tournament.
Have to, right? 2-11 to start. Just up with the explosiveness, the slaying potential. The Skyz takes our breath away to start off the round. Thankfully for LAG, they are able to rally back. Taking down Awakening has been a very difficult task, but able to do it in the initial fights. As Florida making their decision. You have 2 players sitting inside a middle. LAG aware of what could be. Low indecisive. Florida not able to get anything as of yet. This is a great response so far from the Guerrillas, but keep things in mind. Based off the push, based off of where the players' positions are at, it will allow for Florida to spawn close toward Mansion, as they've got 2 now toward the water side. But once more, Mutineers trying to make something happen, getting taken down.
Yeah, and the good thing is that Havoc won a huge one-on-one over towards that 8 point, so they're eventually able to stop that clock. But still, LAG picking up a lot of kills around this map. That's going to be 3 down, so now they can fight for that map control once again, and eventually they're going to force Florida to try to make a hero push. 25 seconds left. They have to try to get onto one of these points, and it's all about trying to go over towards A. But Chino and aBeZy causing so many problems, being in the positions that they are, picking up kill after kill. It's not going to allow Florida to try to push out through Arch, so this is their last push. They're going to try to take it towards Water Steps, trying to get over towards B. But that is where Assault is going to be set up. That's going to be 3 down. Chino on a 5 spree. Close out this round. Huge one-on-one engagement. He's going to be able to win it versus Havoc, and that's going to be the round right there. Good response out of LAG. Specifically, Chino at least going into that next round on a 6 spree with the hopes of picking up some streaks early.
Yeah, and she said coming to the next round, and also deserving, very well deserved the best play. Comes into round number 3, sitting on 6 kills in a row. I know that it was a rough S&D for Cheen. I'm not sure if he actually did walk away with the kill or not.
He did. Okay, he was 1 and 7.
Oh, that's right. He did walk away with you know, a few here or there, but you just see him try to turn things around, and at times that he's kind of been the only player for LAG to go positive in these games, and he's kind of been their slayer so far throughout stage 4, and if he's not having a good performance, it can be very, very difficult. A lot of pressure on Money Cheen's shoulders, but so far he has turned up in this control, specifically in round number 2, and again, we'll be keeping in mind if he can stay alive on that spree, how big that streaks could be in LAG's attempt. What is going to have to be a reverse sweep. As 2 players drop inside of the point. Meanwhile, Silly's trying to clear out the backside of the base. Mutineers walking away with an initial fight.
Chino just knows how important these streaks are. He's not trying to die, but unfortunately, Neptune is going to climb up from that side window and is going to take him off of that streak. They have 1 tick of progression over towards that 8 point, but Florida are so far pushed up that it's going to be really difficult for them to try to fight out of their base. Chino's going to be able to take down 1 Neptune with the trade.
He's feeling it.
Yeah, he's feeling it. You see the movement? Oh my god. Silly eventually is going to take him down on aBeZy with the second. So now that's going to open up that 8 point a little bit, but you still have both assault rifle players in a position to just cause problems as they eliminate both of those players. Now it's all on LAG to fight through the middle of the map, trying to commit over towards that B point. Huge gunfight win from aBeZy.
Big gunfight win there from LAG now setting up a push toward this B point. So far it has been all defense. And LAG get the capture. Basketball court cleared out to start. Skyz gonna have to go for the dip. Can he take down Assault? He does. The trades are in, and now Gene, left all by his lonesome toward water side, now has to back on up. And the great crossfire set up for Neptune. And really him in that situation, he takes down one, nearly takes down his second, but just based off his positioning, sets the Mutineer players up to take down what was the rotation off of spawn for the Guerrillas. It's been 2 defenses to start, and I think we're about to see a third. Florida not allowing for LAG to even really be all that competitive toward either of these. There were moments of brilliance, a nice little moment here or there, but really once we saw Cheen go off of that 6 Priestahh, it looked to be all kind of, I guess you could say, downhill from there.
Yeah, they were playing nice and slow. They were trying to bait basically for Chino so he could work that kill. All of his teammates were dropping all around Art, and he was trying his best to stay alive because he knows how impactful those streaks can be if you're going in towards the later rounds. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to pick those up. Florida Mutineers right there in that round just held down map control the entire time. They were so far pushed up in Art, so far pushed up in the middle of P5, and just keeping control of that top grade. They just didn't give any openings right there for LAG to try to get onto one of these points. So now they find themselves down 2-1. Florida going to open up with some early first blood. A second onto Silly is going to go down. So now that's going to open up this 8-point a little bit. But Chino with some great shots from that inner stairs, trying to cause some problems early for Florida.
And 3 straight defenses. Can we finally see an attack? And so far, it looks like one of the better pushes that we've seen toward this A point, as Silly finally does get dropped. And that will be the stack for the Mutineers. Over at A, Gene able to spot a shoulder. Takes one down, trying to rip apart the setup. As aBeZy will complete a nice little wave for the time. So with that, Guerrillas are able to rebound. Again, as we discussed, a big round for them. The biggest round, arguably, of their season. LAG. All these teams that kind of sit toward the bottom side of the standings have to have a good run here at the Major. Dropping top 12, top 10, maybe even top 8. Gonna be the decisive factor. When we even talk about something like Champs, 35 seconds left, the big one there from Assault.
Oof.
That'll be 2 for him. Nice little multi-kill for the moment as Florida gear up for what could be the final push. 30 seconds left, 2 ticks still to go.
And I'm pretty sure that LAG, they were able to get some more progression at least towards both of these points. So if it does go 5-5, they should be able to get defense. But Florida are going to be able to get on towards this 8-point, win a couple of engagements. Now stop that clock from ticking down. As the second tick is about to come in, Havoc still trying to cause problems in towards middle Zig, but aBeZy is going to be able to spot him out. LAG is still on the prance though. They are attacking this. They are not trying to give this round up. They know that the ticks and the progression on these points are going to go in their favor. They just have to not allow for Florida to try to take this 8-point, and that's a great job right there out of Assault, picking up 3 kills right there to slow down that push. Now for Florida, they have to get on B, and that's going to be a huge opening kill right there out of Neptune, as 2 players from Florida are going to hop on this B point, trying to stop this clock. Huge one-on-one engagement from Havoc as well. So now they're causing problems on both of these progressive points. If Havoc can win this one-on-one engagement, it'll be huge, but he's going to drop. So now it's all on his teammates on this B point. The second tick does come in, but they're doing a great job of just stalling time, having the LAG players basically scattered around the entire map.
This is excellent play right now from the Mutineers as Neptune takes down 1. That will be a secure point now at B. Minute on the clock. 6 versus 11 in regards to the kills. LAG, they've got to hold this one as Neptune pokes away for the first. Assault has been a turret so far at the statue. As he finally gets dropped, there goes Silly as well. Mutineers beginning to push their way forward as Skyz has found himself a lane toward the flank, but is that going to be enough? That's going to be 3 straight in the feed. That very well could be it. The stack of the point is in, and Florida walk away with this series in a 3-0 fashion, securing the control. And what a round 4 it was. Textbook. There was barely any time on the clock, and they were able to nearly capture both A and B in sync. And this team is on. They are unbelievable. So hard to break. And LAG, they run into it. A hard loss for these guys to take. They win the Battle of LA, but their journey here at the Stage 4 Major comes to a close with a top 10 finish.
Yeah, and Florida, they just played great from start to finish of that series. Obviously, the first hard point was really close, but they dominated in that search and destroy. And even in that map number 3, I feel like they were able to take their 2 defensive rounds. We were expecting that. They did them in dominant fashion. But even in that last run right there, it was the SMG players to be the playmakers. Like Havoc and Neptune right there was so far pushed up in the middle of the map. There were only 3 seconds remaining. Havoc pushed out towards Pocket to try to allow his teammates to get onto that point. He eventually comes back, finds that player as he's trying to wrap out of that money window. Yep. They get those kills, and then eventually they start getting in the team stack. Once Havoc drops, he spawns all the way at A, and he has a huge one-on-one engagement that he's able to walk away with. And then he drops to the second, but he's just causing so many problems, basically spreading the players of LAG to focus on A, to focus on B. It was just really difficult for them to try to come out on top of either one, but they were able to secure B and then eventually use their teamwork, even with the live disadvantage in that last round right there to close it out. They knew once they opened up with that 1, eventually the chains would go back and forth, and they were able to close it out there. Florida looking good to start the major. Good 3-0 out of that.
Yeah, a good and solid 3-0 versus a team in the Guerrillas that we know can be incredibly crafty, but I know when we kind of talk about their stage, how it overall went, we cannot stress enough about those hard points, search and destroy, throughout the stage 4 major at times. Looked good. It looked great in their last series versus the Thieves, but in retrospect, you have to evaluate yourself and realize, hey, you know what? We still finished top 10, and there's just a few things, I guess you could say some minor things, and in combination to each other that allow for us to go out the way that we do. But I thought the conversation throughout, all of this season so far, that has been Mutineers, in kind of every mode. Like, they can be competitive. They're at the middle of the pack, if not slightly above the rest of the pack, and hardpoint S&D in control. And that was on full display here. They take down a solid team who has been great at S&D in control. While, the control was, I guess you could say, a little bit more close. It was textbook on that Miami, my friend.
Yeah, it was, man. It was complete dominance. Like I said, in the very early rounds, it was all about just soloing out Chino. They noticed that once we take down Chino, it breaks the setup of LAG, forces players to be uncomfortable, and that's exactly what you want in a game mode like Search and Destroy. They started off in the early rounds there, and then towards the end, they were just basically using him as a decoy. Right. And it was just such a great work from them, just using that preparation that they did, the homework that they did on that team to close it out the way that they did.
Yeah, absolutely. When we talk about Florida throughout this series, a number of different words could be used, but I think teamwork is a fair expression in regards to how this series concludes. As now we're going to take a look at our scuff play of the game, and this is coming in toward the end of round number 4. Big situation, LAG trying to force it to that round number 5, and as we said, it was just great coordination both at A and B. Florida remained competitive.
Yeah, but this is a great job right there out of Neptune, because if he loses that one-on-one engagement, the time stops ticking. They weren't able to capture that B point. So now once they're able to get that, it's all about using that middle map to your advantage. Neptune's able to open up with a big kill onto Assault, but just keep in mind that number 2 player in Skyz, he's already around side Pocket. He's trying to set up for some spawn kills, and then Havoc wins a huge one-on-one onto the player on point, and eventually for Awakening onto the second. Catching Chino jumping out the window is exactly what you want. You're spawning them all out towards lower water. It's basically impossible for LAG to try to get back into play. And Florida, like I said, man, they just played really well in that series.
Yeah, they absolutely do. A solid victory from top to bottom here out of the Mutineers. And as we said, solid team victory coming in for the roster. As I believe now we have Jess standing by with good old Caesar Bueno. Take it away, Jess.
Thank you so much, Lando. That's right. We have good old Caesar Skyz Bueno here for your Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. I mean, we are back on LAN for the first time in over a year. How does it feel to be back and to put down the Los Angeles Guerrillas like that? And not to mention, that was the 5th time this season that you guys have beat them.
Well, it feels really good considering like a year. It's been too long. And online, like, you can actually like go hard, but like whenever you're at LAN, it's like a different environment, and you just, I don't know what it is. You just hit that next step in your head like that. It just feels better to play here.
That is awesome to hear. We've all heard about your Caesar Skyz Bueno invest in yourself philosophy. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and maybe how it's helping your gameplay so much?
Honestly, I mean, I obviously put a time, but like it's turned to like a meme, but it's a good meme. I like it, but I actually put a lot of time in. I try to play as much 8s as possible, but they're kind of hard to start this year, and yeah, just putting in time.
It's a meme, but you know, it's rooted in reality as well. So next up, you are going to be facing the Subliners, and yeah, they're down ASIM, but I mean, it's still the Subliners. And last time you guys played, you did take it to map 5, but what's it going to take this time for you guys to really close that out this time?
We got to make sure we don't make mistakes because New York, they have a really strong core 3. Like, if Decimate gets going on that team and then they're all on the same page, it's going to be really hard. But we have to go in with the same vibes, try to make the minimal mistakes, because if you make that versus the top teams, you're gonna lose, obviously. So, unfortunately, we're happy with ASIM, but we got to take advantage of the situation.
Well, finally, before we toss it over to the desk, as a personal favor to me, could I ask you, can you do the Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, sure. There it is. Good heavens.
That was awesome. Well, thank you so much. Very, very well played. Lando, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Jess. Okay, apparently it's called the Shia LaBeouf. I have no idea. I guess I'm not in tune with current trends going down. But, folks, interesting way to start off day 2 of our Stage 4 Major. 2 teams going home, and both, in fact, in 3-0 fashions. As we said, half the games are done. Still 2 more to go. When we come back after the break, it is Lottie and Nameless breaking down today's action and setting us up for what will be a phenomenal end of the day.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew Game Fuel. Pre-order the new Courageous Sherbet flavor now on GameFuel.com while supplies last. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
Well, it's been hot 3-0s today across Dallas. Now you can see the gorgeous skyline, which LAG will also see very shortly on their plane ride home. Goodbye, Guerrillas. Bit of a roast there. I'll tell you what, we have our bracket up for you guys. If you have just joined us, welcome. Lovely to have you. This is what is actually happening right now. Here, paint the picture. So Mutineers do send LAG home. You can see they're 3-0 in the elimination bracket. They're going to be meeting Subliners in elimination round 3. We also saw Surge today, 3-0 Legion. They're going to be meeting OpTic very shortly as well. So they have to prepare for this on LAN. Some big stuff happening. But I tell you what, I've got to say, Big Wake. He's huge. Oh my goodness, it's true. It isn't a myth. He is really tall.
As a unit.
Big Wake lives up to his nickname. He's an absolute unit, but I'll tell you what, he's also a unit on the map as well. Florida Mutineers, absolutely fantastic stuff across the board for them. The teamwork was the dream work. It was absolutely stunning. What is it about LAN and producing the best out of these teams? Nameless, what did you make of that series?
Yeah, I mean, Mutineers, they haven't skipped a beat. They look phenomenal throughout Stage 4 groups. They come here and they play Los Angeles Guerrillas. And Guerrillas, the way they got it done versus LA Thieves was by winning the Search and Destroys and stealing a respawn. But when you're going up against Mutineers, they're a formidable team when it comes to Search and Destroy. You saw, I mean, it's just like a hard counter to the way that they play. I mean, we're going to take a look in the analysis clip at round number 1, sort of how Mutineers set the tone for the rest of that map. But yeah, I mean, too much slaying power on the side of Mutineers. They keep getting better and better. Love what I saw today.
I love it too. Let's just jump straight into it. S&D round 1 for Florida. Talk to me about that. What did you notice there, man?
Yeah, it's just a great round out of Florida. I mean, they have a couple players just holding the push through over near beach side. You see Neptune sneak up and get a kill. Let's jump into it. So right here, you see on the Guerrillas, they're trying to go over towards that beach side. You have Cellium and aBeZy working up that right side of the map. Assault actually picks up the first blood on Havoc trying to get through mid-street, a thing that Havoc likes to do, tries to push up and get that first blood. But not too bad for Mutineers, because what Mutineers have is they have Big Wake. And he's just holding down this side, holding the push through, waiting. Skyz starts that rotation, but they know they're going to have to get a kill. So what does Neptune do? He takes the initiative, looks for a kill, finds the guy that's playing the island, which is aBeZy, so that gives them an opportunity to converge. Since Big Wake has done such a great job of not letting anybody get through, he's checking out all the angles. They know that they have to be contained near that beach, right? So Skyz has been watching the outside push through while Awakening was trying to get a pick. So Skyz is able to get a pick over at beach. Meanwhile, Neptune converges over because he knows where they planted it. There's going to be a guy playing back for the clutch. That's going to be Assault. He likes to play in their buildings. That's what we saw Guerrillas do yesterday. So Neptune pushes through to their base, finds the kill onto Assault, and at that point, it's a 3v1. You could see throughout all those gunfights, Mutineers didn't take any damage. Nobody was able to shoot at them. That's how good of a collapse that was. That was a 3v4. It was wonderfully executed. Everybody knew what they wanted to do in that round, and specifically Neptune for getting that kill to even out the odds, and then finding the player that was playing the clutch in Assault. He clearly was receptive in their VOD review, and it paid off.
Loved everything about that. The positioning from that team was absolutely stunning. Mutineers clearly working together very, very well right now. I think it's going to be pretty hard to stop them if they keep playing to that kind of level there. Now, another game we have to talk about, Nameless, before we go, is of course Ultra versus Empire. Now, Ultra watching very carefully yesterday for the winner of Dallas versus OpTic, and Dallas do manage to get it through pretty convincingly, 3-0. Dallas Empire versus Ultra. Nameless, you know, what do you think about when you look at this series, when you look at these two teed up together? Who wins this match for you?
Well, who wins this match? I mean, I'm going to go with Ultra. They've just playing phenomenal. I mean, they're 12-0 map count their last 4 series. They've been frying. They've gotten better and better. And one of those wins they had was versus the Dallas Empire. Now, granted, that was a different Dallas Empire team, but has Dallas caught up to Toronto? I think that's a lot to ask of these guys. Toronto, I mean, they're right there with FaZe, right? Like, they're a cut above the rest. Last time they played, the SMGs got smoked. But yesterday, we saw the SMGs frying versus Chicago. They were going off across all 3 game modes. I mean, look at the stats on your screen. So you need that once again today. They have to do that, but they honestly have to go above and beyond. You need really big performances out of players like iLLeY and Crim. iLLeY yesterday was pretty good, but you need Crim as well to step it up today. All 4 of them are going to have to be on point because they're going to have to play their best COD to take down Ultra, a team that's been frying for quite some time.
They really will, man. Like, there's no doubt about it. Ultra have always been looking so good. This stage as well, impeccable stuff out of them. I'm excited to see what they're going to do on LAN. It's our first sneak peek of them as well. Well, folks, we're going to have a little look at the playoff picture. This is the big picture look at exactly where we're at and where people are at when it comes to champs as well. So Dallas actually secured a top 8 playoff spot just because LAG lost just then, which is pretty incredible. So you can see right now who's in the hunt as well. We have four left. So you can see who's in the hunt and who's in danger of the bottom 4. Now it's funny to see Surge in the danger of the bottom 4 considering how well they're playing right now, and it's kind of crazy. Nameless, like, you look at Surge and the way that they're playing. If they had played this way throughout the entirety of this stage,
yeah, I wish.
I mean, where do you reckon they would have been right now? Where do you reckon they would have been?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, clearly, LAN makes these guys play way better, right? Like, it's just their natural habitat. I do think that they're by far the best out of those teams in the bottom 4. So I think they would have been swinging right for the top 8, to be honest.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there as well. Well, I'll tell you what, with another major also comes another player of the stage, and as always, your favorite CDL casters and analysts will be putting their heads together to determine the player who exhibited the skill, sportsmanship, and consistency throughout the stage in order to win this title, and we'll be announcing it after the final match, so stay tuned for that one as well. Big stuff for the player of the stage. Last time we had Bance, and it was absolutely fantastic stuff, so incredible incredible achievements overall for player of the stage. Watch out for it. We're going to be back. We got Ultra versus Empire coming up next. You won't want to miss it.
Hello, welcome back to Major 4, live from Dallas. We are back to LAN, and well, Joe and I are finally ready to get involved. Joe, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Obviously, you see a look here, Dallas Empire getting ready in their practice room. Toronto Ultra, their first match, what a comeback they've had with the start of Stage 4, right? They lose that first match, and then, well, since that point, they have not dropped a map. And Dallas, man, they look good yesterday. Feels like things finally starting to click with this new roster.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more, but I think just in general, we thought, based on how they were last year at the end of the year, that eventually it was going to click. They'd be a very fundamentally sound team, and they'd be a hard team to beat. Maybe they're getting there, but it's probably too early to say that. But I don't know. I guess I've been waiting for it. Maybe it's time, Joe, but I'm sure you want to see more.
Yeah, I think, yeah, 100%. Obviously, you can have, good series individually. We always talk about that, how talented our league is. And, yesterday you had Shotzzy and Vivid really pop off. Maybe it was a slow day for OpTic. Maybe it wasn't. What we're looking for is consistency. How will they compete with Toronto Ultra from top to bottom? Toronto Ultra, they're such a good, just overall team. That's really it. Obviously, their 2, 3, and 5 is so darn good. Their hardpoint is one of the best as well. And one of their star players has been Insight. And since he was added to this lineup, you can just see the immediate impact that he has had. 3rd overall in hardpoint, 1st in search and destroy, top 11 in control. The main AR for this team locks it down, and he's one of the reasons that they're a top 3 team in this league.
100%. And I think for a lot of fans, when they were doing their pick'ems, you had to do them before the match yesterday for Empire. You would have looked at the last time these two teams played, and it was pretty one-sided, right? But I think for those at home now, you're thinking this is a different Empire team. And I think for Ultra, you better view it that way as well. Because, well, Joe, have you been in that spot where you smoke a team 3-0, you play them a couple weeks later, you're probably thinking we're going to smoke them again?
Yeah, I just think it's more of maybe a confidence thing. Maybe that might not be there yet for Dallas Empire. I think yesterday was a good win, but I think they know they have a lot of work to do for Ultra.
Yeah.
I think they're just realistic in the fact that they knew it was a newer lineup. And yeah, it is going to be different. They watched that match yesterday. They saw what Vivid and Shotzzy were able to do on that map. Even iLLeY really stepped it up. So they know this is a bit of a different team that they faced a few weeks ago.
100%. I can't wait to get into it. I first saw it, I was thinking 3-0, but now I'm hoping we have a Game 5 battle on our hands. But let's meet our teams. We're going to kick it off with Toronto Ultra.
Too fast, I'ma zip right past, drip all on my swag, why you tryna size me up, you don't wanna try your luck, hot as a stove, what did you know, burn like coal, yeah, you know I go, way too hot, yeah, really too cold, I'ma keep going till I hit my goals, better get back when I'm in my zone, do it for the ones that I know back home, if you hear that tone.
Toronto Ultra getting ready to rock. It has been a while since they have lost a map. Benjamin Bance, maybe the greatest European Call of Duty player of all time. By the time it's all said and done, he will more than likely be the Prime Minister.
Maybe. I mean, maybe that's, maybe that's his life goal, but there's a look at the roster. Yeah, Bance, Cammy, Insight, and Cleanex getting into their spots now. Coach Marky B. And I'm sure these guys are pumped up. But I think for some people, there's just a question mark. Like, can these guys keep it up? You're on LAN now. It's a different environment. It's a different beast. And it's one of the teams I think a lot of people are waiting to see how they perform.
Well, yeah, I mean, they had the Delphi sponsor. Man, they became kind of a meme at some point when they won that first event last year. And yeah, you have some players. I mean, Insight, not Insight, sorry, Cleanex, we first saw at Champs last year, so he has some LAN experience, but obviously a very new player, hasn't played on LAN much, but I don't know, Standy seemed fine yesterday, Joe.
No, I mean, I'm not too worried about it. What these guys have consistently done, these last couple of stages, they've been top 3. They won a major. They are the real deal. There's no doubt in my mind.
Absolutely. And on the other side of this, they're going to be facing off against a new look Dallas Empire. There's been a new look for them a couple times recently, but the improvements finally seem to be coming through. Rambo Ray, confident that the fundamentals in team play are getting there. Let's meet the team, Dallas Empire.
Dallas Empire have smashed the gates open.
Fellow with the round 1 ace.
Oh, it's a shot punch. Oh, no! Once again, they saved the day.
Joe, it kind of feels like everything's right in the world right now. Crimsix is back to trolling various fan bases. He's back to being Crim. I'm loving it. He's great.
No, he is absolutely hilarious. But here's a look. Yeah, Vivid, Shotzzy, iLLeY, and Crim. And Coach Rambo, it's a beautiful swing right there. It's about 270 right down the fairway. Just fundamentally great out of Coach Ray.
Yeah, no, I've played golf with him many times. He's actually incredible. It's annoying how good he is at a lot of things. He's a very good bowler. He's a very good golfer. He was a professional Call of Duty player. All of those things are hand tortures. I don't know how he did them all, but now I'm sure he's killing it in the coaching role. But Empire, a big test today against Ultra, a top 3 team, since stage 2. They have not looked back. Joe, do you feel like this Empire team, I think this is going to be a fight?
You're really sold on it. I still just have to see a little bit more.
I don't know.
I think the big thing for them is the more and more we have watched them, Vivid has gotten more comfortable. And I think early on in stage 4, that was a big piece that was missing. It just felt like you had all the role switching going on with iLLeY. You still have Shotzzy, who was playing a high level, but he needed a little bit of help, and Vivid has finally hit that.
Let's get to our game fuel keys to victory. We'll kick it off with Dallas Empire. Joe, what do you think?
Well, I think Shotzzy and Vivid, they have to keep playing like they did versus OpTic. It's going to be a back and forth battle, but they need to stay consistent because when they played earlier in this stage, it was minus 42 from that duo. It was not good. Not good at all. Stay strong and search and destroy. Ultra is one of the best teams. Their control hasn't been great, Dallas Empire. So if you're going to extend that series, if you're maybe going to win a game 5, you have to stay strong and search. And they got a good couple of maps, so we'll get to that. And then iLLeY. I think iLLeY is one of those players that has been under the microscope a little bit. And what we saw against a very tough AR matchup yesterday versus Formal and Dashy, he stepped up big time for Dallas Empire. I want to see him stay consistent.
100%. And yeah, the team play was on point. Maybe that's why I was a little convinced. Just Ray said the fundamentals are getting there. They're playing together. And it seemed like something was struggling before this. We'll see. On the other side, though, game fuel keys to victory. Take me through Toronto Ultra.
I mean, if you're Toronto, just eyes on what you have been doing. Stick to your system. You were 12-0 in map count since that Game 5 loss. That's really it for me. Stick to your fundamentals. Be prepared for a different Empire this time around, though. Last time they played, it was a 3-0. They outslayed them by 43, and we kind of touched on it. This is a different Empire that we saw yesterday. And then for me, Bance needs to lead by example. When we saw them win Major 2, it was Bance. This is a guy that is leading them in hardpoint and is second in control in those respawns throughout this stage. And he's a guy with that LAN experience. He is their vet. So I want to see Bance have a big matchup here.
100%. I mean, I just feel like when he started to turn it around, and yes, Insight joined the squad too. When Vance really started to get confident and play better, this team looked totally different. They've been monsters on the map, and I can't wait to see how this goes down. I'm excited to talk through the maps and modes, especially, you talked about the search. Let's kind of go through this because when I first saw it and I saw the searches, I was like, well, those are like kind of the 50-50 ones with regards to Ultra, who are a good search team, and that, they've won as much as they've lost. You got to take me through how we got here.
Yeah, I think the big thing is for Dallas is they get rid of Raid. That is kind of Toronto Ultra playground. And then for Ultra, with the introduction of Standoff, right, they've seen the way Empire's played it. Maybe they're not that comfortable with it. So what happens is Dallas Empire picks Miami, a very strong search map for them. And then Moscow Search and Destroy for Ultra, which is around, I think, 6 and 5 on the year, right around that 50-50 mark. The one search map that was not picked was Express. The reason is because Dallas is a very good Express team. In Ultra, leave that open because I think they're 7-1 on it. And they say if Dallas wants to play us on it, we'll take it from them. But we won't see that in here. But we're starting off with Checkmate Hardpoint, 7-6 for Empire, 9-6 for Ultra. Ultra have really turned it around on this map. It has become one of their strengths in Hardpoint.
No, good breakdown, because I thought some people, you might see their 7-1 on Express. Like, why didn't they pick it? Well, that is why. So you saw 5 maps we're going to be going through. It's Major 4, Empire, Ultra, and we're going to find out if Empire is improved as some might hope they are. Here they are. And if Ultra are able to lose a map, because I don't know, they have it in a month.
Yeah, they haven't in a long time, and that is the thing. If it happens, right, you have to bounce back from that. And they were a team at times they were losing like a hard point, but then it was just like 2, 3, 4. When they got to their hard point map, they were just ripping 3 off in a row and sending everybody home.
Yeah, that is true. Well, iLLeY, I mean, eyes on him for sure, because you and I cast a lot of their games, and he was inconsistent, or when he was consistent, it wasn't in a positive manner. Yesterday, he was great. If they get that same iLLeY, it's a different team.
No, it is. It's just the firepower that this team has, and it was a clear weakness, at the flex roll. When you look at your top teams, your Camis, your Celliums, your Dashies, the guys playing that second AR, they were the superstars, and you just kind of didn't have that on the Dallas Empire side. iLLeY with a big step, I think, towards that yesterday. But here in this first hill, it's a nice job by Empire. Vivid, though, able to pick up a big kill on Bance, who was going for that rotation over the second hill.
Tom's on point, picking up the push through. They've got the early setup. They already are pushing out through plane, and we'll see if Cammy, who has been the mega super ultra star, can have a performance here, because he has been a beast. But who's been a beast so far on land that maybe we didn't expect? Vivid, 6-1 to start. He was electric yesterday. And I mean, to be fair, he came out flat, really flat to start with this Empire team, but finding his groove.
No, he really is. I mean, you have Shotzzy and Vivid right now. I mean, just look at the top left of your screen. The slaying right now for Dallas Empire. Crim's going to find that multi-kill. This is a beautiful first and second hill, the way you can chain those together. And on the other side, Bance yet to find a kill. Insight only 1. But we know it's just going to take some time until those guys get comfortable on that stage.
Well, you mentioned how big Bance is going to be in the, from LAN experience standpoint, he leads the way. It's tough when you're struggling. He is 0-6 right now, but he's got to find a way. I'm going to go to an Astro listening with Toronto Ultra.
Push out, chucking out. He's playing with you, Cam. He's close shot. I'm blocking. Really quick. Yeah, under left, Absolute. I don't see on the left.
Die here.
On the left.
Nice, good shit. I'm not blocking, by the way. He's stacked.
Yeah, I'm blocking.
He's dead.
Nice, good shit. Where are we spawning them? He's spawned behind, man. Okay, I'm running back.
One back there.
Push home behind.
No left. One more backstairs to me, Cam.
Yeah, I'm playing a kill. iLLeY back to dead. One more Crim. I'm one off for Cruz. Crim's under exit.
The left, Shotzzy weak.
Yeah, no, okay. One left. Backward.
Shotzy's at the left.
Nice.
Keep
it up.
I'm wrapping.
Yeah.
Streak him.
Yeah, I've got an artillery.
Yeah, that's fine.
Watching tube. 2 out. 2 out.
They're gonna win it. Yeah, one more, Cam.
Nice. They're gonna go right.
Shotzzy weak, ASD.
From 6. One more top yellow.
Yeah,
Let's go. One on road. Nice.
Nice. Let's fucking go now, please.
I'm putting him.
Get off. Yeah, I know. I'm on it. I'm playing back right. They're going to be in there.
Playing on the right wing. I don't really have to
Last block.
Almost dead.
Nice.
Careful.
They're going to be top lane. Might be top lane.
Gonna push out, Jamie.
Hard blocker.
I'll go.
Into
Top lane, Vivid.
I can help.
Push out, fuck, Jamie.
Could be under right or something. Under plane probably.
Play Ellie dead.
Yeah,
nice,
push
good
me
shit.
backstairs.
He's close, Jamie. Close, Jamie. Nice, Jamie.
They spawn it.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's play this for a flip. Let's play for a flip. Trust me. Get across. Get across. Trust me.
Drop the nail in
Oh,
here.
Shotzzy's top lane. Shotzzy's top lane.
Stay up and just stay close. Stay
Stay
close.
close.
I have an artillery here.
Yep. Top lane. Top lane. One of them.
Yeah, top lane. I'm coming to help you, Ben.
Around left.
Could I be time?
I don't see guy on the left or anything.
He's top exit.
Hey, down.
Nice, Ben. Good shot. Watch on the other side. Backstairs, Crim. Weak backstairs, and then Vivid on point.
Who's that?
Crim's backstairs on this ground. Nice,
Nice.
close.
We're gonna look for shots here.
Shotzzy too. It's really Shotzzy in time.
Push that mid.
Well, Joe, I don't think that 0-6 start FaZe Bance whatsoever. He was leading the way in the comps. He's fired up.
No, he was. It was a big bounce back heel for Toronto Ultra at P3. You really saw Cammy get going. He was able to earn an artillery. Their guns got hot and they bounced back. But Dallas Empire, they were able to get that flip. They have this set up for P5. But who is it? It's Cammy. It's Bance right now, able to break through towards the front. Dallas Empire going to be quick on this rotation over towards Wood. Vivid able to find that kill, and Crib slides on out, but they're doing a really good job just putting continuous pressure and breaking this setup of Dallas Empire. Shotzzy finds a crate, able to rip Cammy.
Wait till we get back to Cammy. Just look at his photo at the bottom, that smirk. It just says, I know I'm disgusting. He was making plays there, but still work to do, as you said. We'll see if Empire can lock down these final 20 seconds. Quality shots from iLLeY. He tries to control plane. Cammy next up the bat. He's worried about a push from the wing side. And he's just going to back out of this. Might be able to catch Bance. Great stuff here from iLLeY, but he will finally get hunted down.
Well, and I think you've seen kind of what you saw if you're a fan of both of these teams. For Empire, it was a hot start, but then they had to bounce back, right? They kind of dealt with Cammy getting hot, but they make the good play. They flip for P5. They lock it down. They still have a 60-point lead. For the Ultra side, it's, okay, we're not down by 100 points. You know, our stars started to wake up. It was maybe a little bit later than what they wanted. A big set of hills here as we go from P1 to P2 for Toronto Ultra. This is their chance to get back into the game.
Yeah, I feel like if you're Ultra and you're spawning on the weak side, a slow start, I mean, you're going to be down anyway. If you start to come alive later in the rotation, it's not the end of the world, but they're still down pretty big. Down around, what, 70 points right now. But Cleanex has gotten through. Unfortunately, he is very much by his lonesome, and they're starting to hunt him down. Empire knows something is afoot, but Cleanex able to pick up the kill. He's got a second one pushing him. Will get dropped. Empire will be able to get set up for second as Crim is just hit.
Well, I mean, that's less Cleanex gets through and more. He's the last one there. All of Dallas, they pushed through P1. They got a ton of time there. They got 30 more seconds. Then off of that, they're able to spawn Ultra out. That was the perfect rotation by Empire. We talked about fundamental Call of Duty. They did it right there. You talked about Crim on a 5 spree. Didn't have the best match yesterday. But he's staying calm. He gave a lot of props to his teammates. And, well, he goes down in Ultra. They get a flip behind the artillery. It makes Dallas uncomfortable. They get those set of kills. And this 30 seconds might put Ultra right back into the game. They have to deal with the subs.
Well, plays you just broke down is why it's kind of what Ray was saying. Like, they're playing fundamentally sound. Stuff like that can win you hard points. 60 points still needed. Shotzzy wins one. There's a whole legion of players here to deal with. The rest of his squad's going to be towards mid plane, getting set up for mid-map. Crim's got the cross, sitting at 23 and 16. Having himself a map, and it continues. Unfortunately, he needs more bullets. He only have 2.
Oh, he's got 40. It doesn't take too long, but we'll need 50 seconds now to secure map number 1. And this is Ultra's hardpoint map pick, so you got to be feeling pretty good. And, well, Bance slows down big time inside as well, 13 and 18. And we talked about, we saw his stats and the star that he has become. But down 100 points. To slowly work their way back into this one. Just feels like Empire. They're hitting and they're hitting hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, when at the beginning of the year, when they were making runs, their hardpoint was very good, and then it just disappeared. But obviously, with the core, the ability was there. We saw it. Maybe seeing a bit of it again now. Is Ultra are in trouble. Down over 100. Vivid, a different player so far this weekend. Cammy, he's leading the way. He's got the most kills in the lobby while there with Crimsix, but just not enough. They are getting